He wrote songs meant to last long after the final note faded. And now, those songs are carrying his name forward. Richard Smallwood, the legendary gospel singer-songwriter, pianist, and composer whose music reshaped modern gospel worship, died on December 30th, 2024, at a nursing center in Sandy Spring, Maryland. He was 77 years old. According to his publicist, the cause of death was complications from kidney failure. His passing marked the end of a remarkable life devoted to faith, music, and emotional honesty, and the beginning of a renewed appreciation for a legacy that continues to move millions. Early life. Richard Lee Smallwood was born on November 30th, 1948, in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. When he was still a child, his family relocated to Washington, D.C., a city that would remain central to his personal life, spiritual growth, and musical career. He was raised primarily by his mother, Mabel Smallwood, who supported the family through various jobs, and his stepfather, Chester Smallwood, a Baptist minister who later founded Union Temple Baptist Church in Washington. It was inside these church walls that Richard's relationship with music truly began. Academically, he did not see himself as exceptional. In his later reflections, he openly described himself as a mediocre student. But music was different. It gave him focus, refuge, and purpose. He absorbed sound from every direction. The sacred hymns of the church, the elegance of classical compositions, the emotional pull of Motown, and even Broadway and popular standards by artists like Barbra Streisand. At just 11 years old, Richard formed his first gospel group with neighborhood children. By junior high school, he was already studying under Roberta Flack, long before she became a global music icon. It was clear early on that he possessed both discipline and depth, qualities that would later define his work. Classical roots and education. Smallwood's musical path took a defining turn when he entered a pre-college classical training program at Howard University, one of the most prestigious historically Black universities in the United States. There, he developed a deep technical foundation in piano performance and music theory. Johann Sebastian Bach became his greatest influence. Smallwood would later describe Bach as his absolute favorite composer, admiring his mastery of counterpoint, structure, and spiritual complexity. That classical influence would quietly shape Smallwood's gospel compositions for decades, even when listeners didn't consciously recognize it. At Howard, he studied alongside future legends, including Donny Hathaway, and played a key role in forming the university's gospel choir. He earned his bachelor's degree in 1971, then returned to complete a master's degree in musicology and piano. Few gospel artists before him combined such rigorous classical training with church-rooted expression. Calling over commerce. Despite his wide-ranging influences, Richard Smallwood never viewed himself primarily as an entertainer. "This is not about making money," he once said. "It's about winning souls and encouraging people through Christ." That conviction guided every step of his career. He was 33 years old when he signed his first recording contract with Benson Records and its Christian subsidiary Onyx Records, a relatively late start by industry standards. But when his debut album, The Richard Smallwood Singers, was released in 1982, it made an immediate impact, spending 87 weeks on the Billboard Gospel chart. His follow-up album, Psalms, earned him his first Grammy nomination, beginning a career that would ultimately include 8 Grammy nominations, multiple Dove Awards, and numerous Stellar Awards, the highest honors in gospel music. A sound that stood apart. What made Smallwood different wasn't just his voice, though it was smooth, assured, and unmistakable, but his compositional style. His songs didn't rush. They unfolded. The piano always led, shaped by his classical training. Gospel radio host Jackie Gales Webb once said that no matter the genre, you could always identify a Richard Smallwood song by the piano alone. It carried his signature. Over time, his music bridged generations. His compositions were performed and recorded by artists across genres, including Whitney Houston, Destiny's Child, and Stevie Wonder, a rare achievement for a gospel composer rooted so deeply in church tradition. I Love the Lord and mainstream recognition. One of Smallwood's most widely recognized works, I Love the Lord, reached a global audience when Whitney Houston performed it for the soundtrack of the 1996 film The Preacher's Wife. The song introduced millions of listeners to Smallwood's lyrical depth and melodic strength, many without realizing they were hearing gospel music shaped by Bach, church testimony, and personal struggle. Yet even as his influence grew, Smallwood remained grounded. He continued leading choirs, mentoring singers, and writing music for worship rather than fame. Total Praise, born from pain. Perhaps no song better represents Richard Smallwood's legacy than Total Praise. Released in 1996 with his gospel ensemble Vision, the song emerged from one of the most difficult periods of his life. At the time, Smallwood was caring for his mother, who was living with dementia, while also supporting a close family friend battling cancer. He initially set out to write what he described as a sorrow-filled piece, a song shaped by exhaustion and grief. Instead, what came out was praise. Total Praise became a defining anthem, used in churches, memorials, national tragedies, and unexpected cultural moments. Destiny's Child included part of the song in a gospel medley on their 2001 album Survivor. After the Sandy Hook Elementary School tragedy in 2012, the family of one of the victims requested it for her funeral. A New Jersey choir even translated the song into Hebrew for a Jewish choral festival, proof of its emotional universality. Music scholars later noted that Smallwood gave gospel music something rare: permission to hold joy and sorrow in the same breath. Private struggles, public honesty. While his music often sounded triumphant, Smallwood was candid about the emotional weight he carried privately. In his 2019 autobiography, Total Praise, he spoke openly about years of depression and the long process of healing from childhood trauma. A turning point came in 2010 when he described a vivid dream involving his late stepfather. In the dream, they walked together, listening to music. When he woke, he wept and felt a release that had eluded him for decades. He later described that moment as spiritual healing, saying it restored peace he thought he might never find. Over time, he came to believe that many of the most enduring songs of faith are born not from ease, but from hardship. Songs of pain last, he once said. They make a difference. Global recognition and honors. Richard Smallwood's influence extended far beyond church pews. He performed for 3 U.S. presidents, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton, and became one of the few gospel artists to tour the Soviet Union during the Cold War era. In 2006, he was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, formally recognizing a career that had already shaped worship music for generations. Yet through it all, he remained based in Washington, D.C., continuing to lead choirs and mentor younger musicians with humility and purpose.